Today marks 25 years since a milestone moment for this country, the Nuclear-Free Act. It's a defining part of our history, but our next guest says we're not as nuclear-free as we'd like to think. Green Party MP Gareth Hughes joins us now. Gareth, thanks for joining us this morning. Just start off by telling us why we're not as nuclear-free as we might think.
Yeah, well, it's a significant achievement, something we should be very proud of, 25 years without nuclear power or nuclear weapons. However, for the last 13 years, we've been importing or transshipping through our ports approximately 5,000 tonnes of Australian uranium yellowcake annually. This is the key ingredient that goes into nuclear power around the world, nuclear weapons. It also goes to the same plant in the States that manufactures depleted uranium munitions, a very bad weapon. So we've got some concerns 25 years on. How nuclear-free are we actually?
So how dangerous is this then if it's coming into our ports? Are we sitting on a time bomb of radioactive potential devastation?
Yeah, I don't want to exaggerate. It is radioactive, but not massively so. The major danger is if you ingest it. But what we've seen in the ports in New Zealand is very poor contingency planning. I've seen emails from the harbour master in Port of Tauranga that there was just no plan, no Geiger counters, no training if there was a spill, and accidents do happen, as the arena showed. So while it wouldn't be a massive radioactive risk, it would be a risk to local workers, the local environment, and it could be really bad for our clean green brand if we had a spill like we saw with arena.
So several issues here. One is having any nuclear product in the country. One is how it's being handled. One is how dangerous is it and how bad is it for our brand. Because you say it's relatively benign, Nick Smith says it's very weak, it's naturally occurring. The research has been done, which shows that it really isn't that dangerous and that it is also being handled correctly and through the right, with the right measures within the port.
Yeah, I guess the key factor is we're nuclear-free 25 years on. However, we're playing an important role in the nuclear cycle, making it cheaper. We're facilitating the nuclear trade around the world from Australia. Now, uranium mining's got real risks for the local communities and miners in Australia. Downstream, nuclear waste, nuclear weapons, depleted uranium munitions. We're playing a role in the cycle, and while the risks to New Zealanders might be small, it's still a role we're playing in the nuclear cycle that I think we should investigate, and I think the government should actually see whether it is consistent with our nuclear-free stance, our spirit, but also our legislation, because while the stuff doesn't come off the ships, it only sits in port for sometimes a week or two. I think it's arguable that it does contravene our nuclear-free legislation.
The Environmental Risk Management Authority says it would not allow it if it was not adequately contained.
Yeah, that's right. So it's stored in steel drums, then in a container. But as the harbour master in her submission to IRMA pointed out, and with pretty graphic photographs as well, that look, containers get mashed all the time on the Trans-Tasman crossing, some rough storms and that weather, and they're stored in the front of the ship, which in many cases can be the most dangerous place. So many containers burst open annually, and if we had this, there would be a risk to the crew, risk to the local port staff as they try and clean it up. But the fact is, for 13 years, IRMA simply failed to regulate or monitor or approve it. It was happening with no one in government being aware, and it wasn't until a few government departments started talking and by accident they discovered they were meant to be consenting it and approving it.
So you want to put this on the table and see a debate held about whether this compromises our brand and the safety of workers within the ports?
Yeah, and I think most Kiwis would be shocked to find out we've got 5,000 tonnes coming through our port annually. We're nuclear-free, we're proud of it. We don't want to play a role in the nuclear cycle, making uranium cheaper. We don't want to support depleted uranium weapons around the world. So I think a lot of Kiwis would like to be 100% nuclear-free.
OK, thank you very much, Gareth Hughes, Green MP.